Victor Osimhen's transfer has continued to be an issue for not only Victor Osimhen himself, but also for Napoli, the club. And this is because it's been proving really difficult for Napoli to get a buyer for Osimhen because of the high cost that they've placed him or that they've valued him. And this has been lingering on for several days, up to several weeks right now. And just when it felt like, we have a club in PSG who are willing to bring out that money to sign him, the next thing we know, the deal halted again, and we are starting afresh. And right now, as we talked about in previous videos, Osimhen is considering the possibility of staying in Napoli for another year because nobody's actually realistically coming to pay 100 million euros to buy him. But one of Nigerian Super Eagles legend has now given an explanation regarding why Osimhen is seemingly stranded at Napoli right now, why no club is willing to pay that amount of money to buy him. Pastor Taribo West has said that it's not about Osimhen's lack of quality. It's not that Osimhen doesn't have the quality to deserve to be bought for 100 million euros, or that the clubs are not willing to pay that much amount to buy him. He said that the issue is much more worse than that, and it's about Osimhen's character. He said that having the ability to play football, to score goals, is one thing that can open doors for you. But also, when you don't have the character, you can close those doors that your talent and your abilities actually open for you. And Pastor Taribo West feels that this is the situation that Osimhen is passing through. His character is obviously preventing these clubs to pay this amount of money to buy him. Taribo claimed that he saw Mourinho giving warnings to other coaches of different club side that Osimhen's character is not very nice, and that if they want to risk it, then obviously they will have to blame themselves in the end. And of course, he mentioned that these coaches have meetings together. They actually have unions where they communicate with each other and then they share information, share ideas, share advice. And that Jose Mourinho may have dented Osimhen's name to other coaches, which is now the reason why he's not getting a lot of interest from these coaches who are supposed to move in and sign him. Again, he mentioned the number of issues that Osimhen has had with his past coaches, not just the recent one with Coach Finidi, but again, he mentioned Spalletti, who was a coach of Napoli last season, and Osimhen obviously had issues with him. If you recall, we talked about it on this channel, where Osimhen was substituted, but he wasn't happy, so he was doing all sorts of exchange, that was caught by the camera. And then there is Coach Finidi issue, with Osimhen. And all of these bits and pieces of character that Osimhen has been exhibiting, bad character, according to Pastor Taribo, is the reason why some of these coaches are not showing interest in bringing him into their club, because yes, you have your quality, but they also want a player who doesn't cause drama, who is humble enough to listen to advice, humble enough to learn, and is not causing confusion in the dressing room. Why Pastor Taribo's opinion might be an underlying issue why Osimhen has not moved, there is also a much more factual issue, and of course is the fact that this club side that wanted to sign Osimhen, for example PSG, already has like two strikers. They have Kolomwani, they have Ramos, who are two strikers with the team. Even though Mbappe left, these two guys are still there, so they are not exactly in need of a striker immediately. That's why technically they are not willing to pay that huge amount to get Osimhen. So this is what Pastor Taribo has said. Anyways, while Osimhen continues to wait and see if he's going to get a club, he is still with Napoli in their training center, preparing for the preseason, and of course he's going to partake in the preseason. They've already started their preseason. He didn't play their last game due to knock that he had in the training. But aside from that, he's hugely part of the team, and he could stay with the team, for one more season. But we'll see what happens in the next coming days. Moving on to the next list, let me let you know that Sadiq Umar has been getting lots of interest, and the latest now is coming from Saudi Arabia, who are willing to pay him a huge chunk of money for his services. The report is that he could potentially be earning up to 70 million naira a month if he agrees for the Saudi Arabia deal. The club is really pushing to get him. But again, he has interest from another La Liga club, the likes of Getafe, who are also trying to see if they can sign the man from Real Sociedad. Currently, he's with Real Sociedad training for their next season, for the new season. Real Sociedad's management are not exactly happy with the man's performance last season, which is why they did everything that they could to try and see if they can sell him before the season starts. Initially, they didn't want to, bring him to their preseason ahead of this coming season. They actually wanted to send him on loan so that he could explore other club and potentially live on a permanent basis. But I decided in the 9 minute to bring him on board, and right now there's still a window that he might still leave, maybe to Saudi Arabia or to Getafe, but we'll see what happens. Sadiq Umar continues to train with the team, and we hope that this season is the season that he finds his mojo back and, do great things wherever he finds himself, whether in Real Sociedad, Getafe, or in Saudi Arabia. And moving on to the next gist, Okoye has admitted that it was always his childhood dream for him to play for the Nigerian Super Eagles, even though he grew up, mostly in Germany, played his football in the grassroots up until the youth stage. But it was always his dream for him to come represent the Nigerian Super Eagles. And he said that this was made possible thanks to his German youth coach, who was very helpful for the transition. He said that this coach of his back then was in touch with Coach General Raw, and they had that conversation, and it was very, very easy for him because his coach always thought of his decision to represent Nigerian Super Eagles. So he made that work for him by contacting General Raw for him, and the man is saying that he's very grateful that obviously General Raw was the man that made it possible for him to fulfill his childhood dream, which is playing for Nigerian Super Eagles. And Okoye continues to express his joy that he obviously has got a call back into the national team. Of course, it's been almost a year that he stayed out of the national team before Finidi called him back, for these last 2 games that we played. But the man is not just here to sit in the bench. He in fact wants to collect the first team shirts from Stanley Nwabali. He knows and respects Stanley Nwabali, and he knows that it's a very healthy competition, having 2 great goalkeepers in the national team. Okoye says that he wants to do everything possible to make sure that he wears the Nigerian Super Eagles jersey again, that the feeling that comes with it, the joy, the pride, and the dignity that comes with it, not just for himself, but for his family as well. He says that this is something that he wants to experience and continue to experience. And that's why he continues to work on himself to be the best of himself, get that first shirt for the Nigerian Super Eagles. We'll see what happens. The new season is coming up, and then it's going to be interesting to see how these 2 goalkeepers perform. Right now, Stanley still has the upper hand because of his performances in the AFCON, so Okoye is still going to need some work to be done for him to replace Stanley. But that's the update, guys. Thanks for watching this one. Don't forget to like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to this channel. And thank you for sticking around. Stay tuned for more updates, guys.